Greetings, everyone. I'm very pleased to be able to take part in the CyFy 2021 and to welcome you all virtually at least. It's an honor to be talking on this very important and timely topic of building back better, pandemics, resilience, and the digital economy. I look forward to the perspectives and insights on this very pertinent subject, especially in these current testing times. As most of you are aware, the last 18 months have seen India and the world face extraordinary challenges, the pandemic being a once in a lifetime event. Whilst it's caused devastation of many lives and businesses, in many ways it has acted, you know, ironically as a catalyst for enabling future change and allowing economies and nations to build back in a manner that potentially will be much more sustainable than what it was in the past. The transition to digital, for example, has been underway for a while. The pandemic has necessarily supercharged it. Now, being digital isn't just a matter of convenience, it's about your health, it's about your vaccination certificate, it's about your job, it's about your ability to thrive, it's about sustenance and survival. During the pandemic, digital technologies have played a central role in safely sustaining economic activity. One obvious example is the way I'm talking to you, which is through video conferencing, which has allowed millions of us to do our jobs from home. Could we have imagined this 20 years back? Potentially no. Another very interesting form which has taken precedence over many other kind of sectors is e-commerce that has allowed, without physical contact, without the physical experience of shops, to be able to buy. The need to quickly adopt and even develop technologies during the pandemic has given the digital sector added momentum. Policies and interventions in India have, kind of enabled most of these things to happen on the digital side. There's been a wider acceptance of digital growth. India has made rapid strides in changing its operating landscape as far as digital infrastructure is concerned. Apparently, and approximately 1.2 billion Indians are enrolled in Aadhaar, which is our unique identification number. There are nearly 330 million new Janadhan bank accounts, which is bringing in 330 million people who are out of the banking network into the banking system. Over 10 million businesses, and that's a significant one, are now on a common digital platform through the goods and services tax movement that was announced recently. Still, at this point in time, only under 18% of private consumption expenditure is digitized. Of course, it is increasingly going to become important for governments in the private sector to collaborate and pursue initiatives which facilitate digitization as well as digitalization, focusing both on developing physical infrastructure and on regulatory frameworks as well as legal frameworks. This definitely calls for a stable, predictable regulatory framework that enables ease of doing business for all companies engaged in this business, adoption of an alignment with global and interoperable standards so that Indian companies can build for a global market, plug into global value chains, and India can benefit from these global solutions. Leveraging the power of data and AI, which is predicted on the, or rather, which is predicated on the free flow of data and innovation enabling privacy regulations, can enable Indian startups to build better solutions in India for the world. Suppose digital trade will be extremely important for our micro, small, and medium enterprises to be able to plug into the global supply chain and recover from the pandemic. Ensuring that all companies participate in opportunities and compete on the value of solutions and innovation they bring to the market will not be, kind of hindered by artificial barriers. Access to infrastructure and accelerating the speed at which digital payments are adopted by Indian consumers and merchants alike is going to be a very important aspect. Realizing the potential of digital also requires for us to promote awareness of the possibilities and the strengths that digital skills can bring to organizations across sectors at large. One prime example is the vaccination certificate. India is the only country which has the vaccination certificate completely digital. While this is a moment of pride for all of us, but it is an example that is standing in front of the entire globe, showcasing what power digital can bring to the table. Our history obviously shows that the impact of such immense actually tends to be a little more asymmetric by affecting the vulnerable segments more, which is where MSMEs, low sections of society, have been very badly impacted. In fact, certain, kind of numbers indicate that women folklore have been much more deeply impacted as compared to men. So effectively, what I'm essentially trying to say is that the jump to digital has now become a now or never proposition. It was earlier an emergency move which was decided to keep them afloat, but now it's going to be a part and parcel of regular life. Continue our focus on bringing small businesses, to the fore in the digital economy. We had announced a worldwide commitment of, 1 billion people, 50 million micro and small and medium enterprises, $250 million of overall support, of which, $33 million is being channelized, by 2025, to MSMEs in India in terms of enabling their business recovery post COVID, providing them inputs on access to credit, value added services to drive operational excellence. And very, very importantly, as I just alluded to, we intend to empower women owned enterprises to unlock their economic potential, specifically when this very, very important segment of the society has been deeply impacted. Our research in India has actually suggested that one of the biggest resistance factors to digital transformation is around fears of safety and security. As digital technology evolves, we will remain at the forefront, leading the way in innovation and security. For instance, we have been leading the development of industry standards and working with many payment industry associations to ensure that payment security standards are put in place as part of a multi layered approach to protect the global payment system. One of our key efforts also includes evolving a roadmap for the migration of EMV, the global standard for chip technology that helps protect sensitive card information and reduces the risk of frauds. Mastercard is also trying to develop an industry open standard for tokenization, which helps protect sensitive cardholder information for digital transactions by generating a unique identifier used only for a specific transaction. We've actually seen some splendid initiatives and splendid, policy engagements being introduced by the regulator in this regard. Our point remains that cyber will be a very, very important area, and trust and assurance will be central to digital transformation. COVID-19 was a humanitarian crisis of the type that we hope we never see again. Technology does create opportunities, but only if it's guided by the ethics and values, decency even, to innovate for inclusion. We are actually going to be at the tip. India is at the cusp of kind of driving inclusive growth more than any other country has ever done in its history, which is where this presents us with tools to break through to a future that works better for everyone. My only entreaty here to everybody is this is not about the administration or the government or the private sector. Each and every one of us needs to put our shoulder to the wheel. Thank you so much for patiently hearing me out, and I wish all of you a successful conference.